As the great Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, everybody else is taken. When it comes to accounting services, many people believe that they will receive the same service at any firm. I mean, let's face it, there are many firms out there that create products or services in the same or in a similar way. It's the people within the firm that will create that difference between their service and the service provided by other accounting firms. Now, I believe that for smaller accounting firms to really stand out and to be remembered, to build that brand salience that I talk about all the time, is to put your authentic selves at the forefront of every single experience that one will have with your firm. This means injecting that authenticity into your brand, into your messaging, into your onboarding and your service experiences. The more virtual that our lives get, the more we hunger after something genuine. What people really want now is not just a product or service, it's an experience that is more honest and transparent, that is more authentic. And to be authentic is to be unique, which is another thing I talk about consistently with accountants. There is one particular accounting firm that I've been admiring for some time now. And yes, they're authentic, yes, they're unique, and they've maintained that image and that voice consistently over the years. Their authenticity has enabled the firm to stand out, to be remembered and attract ideal clients that they actually want to work with. And this all stems from their director, who founded the firm on the basis of being less transactional and being more relationship focused by being your authentic self. So a special guest is joining me for this episode of Practice Makes Perfect. I recently caught up with Andrew Vanderbeek, the founder of Illuminate, an accounting firm from a small seaside town on the Mornington Peninsula. Illuminate are different, they're a little bit quirky, and have a whole lot of personality. So let's jump across to my chat with Andrew as he shares his journey and the story behind his unique accounting firm, Illuminate. Andrew from Illuminate, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be here, mate.
I'm sure there are many people within the accounting industry that know who you are. So tell us, who is Illuminate, the accounting firm?
Who is Illuminate is such a difficult question to answer at times because, like, at a basic core level, we are accountants. We lodge tax returns and we keep people out of jail. That is what we do. But the greater being, I guess, of who is Illuminate is we are a collective of really interesting and intriguing people who recognize that accounting doesn't have to be the stereotype that it always has been, that we can bring in personality, flavor, and fun and create an incredible experience for our clients. And then we actually truly madly do actually give a shit about our clients and what they're going through. And the way we work with them reflects that.
I've heard you talk about authenticity and how it's important for accountants to be their authentic selves. And I can tell that this is something that you're pretty passionate about. But given your experience, what do you think people expect an accountant to look, feel, and sound like in their brand and marketing communications?
Look, this is a hard one to say because I think there's a lot of unfair speculation of the stereotype of the accountant out there. And whilst I have met a lot of people that might fit that stereotype, which people would say when I started Illuminate, this is what I referred to as a stereotype that I wanted to break. It's the overweight, slightly over middle-aged man who wears the power suit with a bright red tie, who speaks in jargon that their clients don't understand. And the only time you hear from them is when they have to pay the tax office or when they have a bill to pay the accountant. That's the stereotype. I said, this is the kind of accountant that I don't want to be. I want to ensure that we have variety of people involved. I want young, I want old, I want male, I want female, I want people with different experiences. So that stereotype, I think it's really like, what do you picture that person sitting behind a computer and a calculator doing? I don't know if it's true. I don't know if that's what people really think because I don't really talk to people about stereotypes, but yeah, a bit like that.
I understand that when you started as an accountant that you were the personification of a traditional stereotypical image of an accountant, but from what I've heard and from what you've told me, it didn't take you long before you realised that it didn't feel like that you were being you.
Yeah, and I think it takes time to get there. So I started my accounting career directly out of high school. I was a cadet with a Big Four accounting firm. I had some incredible exposure, but also that was as stereotyping a Big Four accounting. Suit, tie, work hard, all these kind of things that you kind of get drilled into you. And then I moved to a smaller suburban firm that still had a lot of that stereotypical accounting, suit and tie, all these kind of requirements and expectations of you that just didn't seem right. And then when I started Illuminate, I still had a bit of that lying around. because, it's part of what you learn through your career of becoming an accountant. But there were frustrations that sat there. My frustration was, why does this have to be transactional? Why can't it be relational? So the whole idea of Illuminate was, let's be relational. Let's connect with our clients. But then I started to unpack and understand that, well, how do I make sure I'm connecting with the clients? Because if I'm pretending to be something that I think they want, then I'm not really connecting with them. I'm giving them a facade that eventually they're going to see through. So yeah, there was time. Like I think I stopped wearing a tie day one when I started Illuminate, but I still would wear slacks and shirt and a jacket. And I have nothing against people that wear suits and ties. And, they're all fantastic accountants, hopefully. But for me, that's not who I was. That's not the kind of person I was. Like, and because I hadn't had the chance to evolve in my young adult life, because I was straight away an accountant at the age of 18, I hadn't gone through that kind of finding yourself moment. So when I started Illuminate and I was 26, I was still kind of finding myself. And it took me 3 to 4 years to get to a point of like, okay, cool. How do I stop wearing the masks that I've gotten used to wearing as an accountant or as what people expect of me? And how do I become more comfortable with who I am? Recognizing that that's what people really want to work with, someone that they can connect with, that they're comfortable around.
Yeah, it's about being your authentic self and communicating that externally. And so, as you said, when clients come in to work with you, they already know what to expect when they interact with you. Whereas you could easily, set a completely different expectation up front. Then when people are in the same room as you, the promise or expectation you've given them doesn't align with the person that they're actually interacting with at that time.
That was huge for us. So we had a website, which was great, and it had images on our team, which was great. But when people walked up the stairs and they saw a dude with a beard, with tattoos, wearing t-shirts and jeans, they're like, that's not what I was expecting. It was a pleasant surprise. But what we realized is, well, if that's a pleasant surprise, why can't we make the first interaction with them when they look at our website and our social and our digital side of things? And why can't that be the first pleasant surprise they have? So it then becomes consistent. Because I think one of the issues we have with accounting and brands and marketing is it's a very inconsistent experience from, hey, we're going to be the best thing you've ever had experience-wise, to the person who sold me on this thing was really great, to they're not really looking after me, to COVID's hit and I haven't heard from my accountant forever. How do you make a consistent experience? And I think for us, being authentic from day one ensures that all the way through, you're not going to have those weird moments where maybe the real you comes out and that's not what they were expecting.
When it comes to your culture, the team, and the accountants that you attract to the firm, do you find it easy to get them to be their authentic selves when they're on the job, to just be who they are and not try to put on any facade?
I think, and probably what I'm seeing, particularly around COVID and the way our teams operate as well, is it's not 100% all about, I'm just comfortable to be myself. And don't get, that's a thing. Like, I've interviewed so many accountants for roles at Illuminate, and it always brings me to tears when I hear them say, I just want to be somewhere where I can be myself and I don't have to pretend to be something that I'm not. I hear it all the time, but I think the key of that, through the authenticity, through the fun, through the environment, through the culture, is that all of a sudden people feel so much more supported. They feel like they're working as a team. They feel like we're all on the same page. They feel like if they have a question, it's not a dumb question, it's a good question because it needs to be answered. So all of a sudden there's a lot more conversation, there's a lot more support, and hopefully there's a lot more growth in our team members as a result of that.
Illuminate is very unique and authentic accounting brand, if I say so myself, and I think has quite a distinctive tone in the marketing that you do. But having that authenticity in your brand, how has that impacted the growth for your firm?
Oh, phenomenally. Absolutely. Like, we would not be the business that we are today if we didn't take that step 4.5, 5 years ago now. It just would not have happened because we would have become beige and it would have been hard to differentiate. So for us, our brand starts at a digital experience, but also from a word of mouth experience too. So the way we live what we do, people experience it and they speak it out, or the way we live what we do, we reflect that through our digital kind of means and capacity, and people experience that as well. So because our brand is unique, it is different. Oh, hey, my accountant put a party on last week and they had a tattoo artist there doing tattoos for the whole night. And then someone goes, what? That was your accountant? How do I get in touch with them? I want to work with someone that can have fun like that, because my accountant's not fun. And that means we attract the kind of people that we want to attract. There's a whole bunch of people that don't want to have anything to do with us. And we're totally cool with that, because there are other great accountants out there that they can work with. But we know for us, our growth, as well as our focus on the people we want to work with, is a direct reflection of the brand we've built, the authenticity we have there. And we know now when people knock on our door, they're already ready for it. They're already ready to have a bit of a more open and interesting conversation with us, where we poke and we prod and we ask them deeper questions than they're used to. And then they're already asking us when the next party is going to be on, because they heard about last year's one.
Yeah, you had a good point there about people who want to work with you and so many others who don't. But I guess, that the clients who do want to work with you are more aligned with you, or with who your ideal client is. And that would save you so much more time wandering in the dark trying to be all things to all people.
I think one of the biggest questions or conversations I see out there is like, how do I sack my D clients? How do I get rid of the crap clients that I've got? Well, there's a lot of great ways to go about that. I want to focus on, how do I ensure that I don't get crap clients? How do I ensure that the people that knock on my door are the people that I should be working with, so I don't ever get to that point? And don't get me wrong, we've had a few clients through our time, we probably still do now that we maybe don't even realize it, who are probably not really up to scratch in terms of the way Illuminate would do business with another person. But if I can make sure the funnel at the top is clean, rid of all the crap, really nice and filtered the way through, so when the people knock on our door, that means I'm not going to have to sit there with like 25% of my client base being absolute turds, and I have to try and spend all my time and trying to get rid of them, and I can't focus on better delivery of service.
So Andrew, a few years ago, you won the Thought Leader of the Year at the Australian Accounting Awards, and since then, you've been speaking around the world, virtually, of course, in recent times, about the importance of authenticity for accountants and the accounting industry as a whole. So for our viewers, what are those key points around that message of authenticity that you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess coming off the back of that award, it was a little bit of a shock, but it was also one of those reflective moments to understand, okay, well, what is it that actually created my experience to get to where I am now, and why are people reflecting this way about me? And I put together an article and then a presentation. The article was coined, "Who the bloody hell are you?" And then I put a presentation that was effectively, "Be yourself, because everyone else is taken," which I believe is an Oscar Wilde quote from some time ago that might have been used by other people as well. And it's the whole idea of that we talk about authenticity and brand, and we talk about being able to stand out, but I want to stand out for the right reasons. I don't want to stand out for the wrong reasons. I want to ensure that what I'm doing is who I am. But the value of that is a whole bunch of things. So when I do the presentation, I talk about education and niching and software and a whole bunch of other things that people think are differentiators. But really the key differentiator is yourself and who you are. And how do we leverage that appropriately to work with the people we want to? Because if I can be comfortable in my skin as an accountant, and I can embrace that. So people say, what do you do? Well, I am an accountant, but I'm not an accountant called Andrew. I'm Andrew who happens to do accounting. So Andrew first, accounting second. So the whole idea of this, everyone else is taken, be yourself, is that there's massive mental benefits on this kind of thing. I'm not having to be anyone else by myself. It allows you to really differentiate yourself. So you're attracting people, you're building trust, because people can see that this is a no bullshit kind of space. So there's a whole bunch of things that are coming through there that now you go, cool, like I'm not going to do that. And in my opinion, that's what every industry needs. But in accounting industry as well, is we often fall in the trap of just going, well, what's everybody else doing? I'll just do that and put my logo on top of it. As opposed to, what do I want to do? What do I think is important? And it might be that it's similar or almost identical to the next person, but we're not thinking about it. And I think there's a challenge of collaboration versus you just solve all my problems. Collaboration is where we might be learning and growing together, and then we take that and we interpret out ourselves for the way we want to communicate. Getting everyone to solve our problems is me going, all right, Google accounting websites that look cool. Great, that one. Hey, website guy, can you build me that website and put my logo on it? That'd be sweet, thank you. It's not real. It's not who you are. And you're just, once again, blending in. We don't need stereotypes. We don't need copycats. We need you and who you are, because there is thousands of people out there that want to work with you because they're sick and tired of working with whoever it is they might be working with currently that they're just not connecting with. And that's not a reflection on their existing accountant per se. It's just a reflection that that relationship might not be the right one, because for far too long, accountants have been B2B.
Yeah.
I'm a business serving a business. No, you're a business to a person. You're a person. It's human to human. It's a relationship. You're consulting, you're advising, you're saving them money, you're helping them achieve their goals. But we just see it as so transactional. So that means we think we can just copy and paste the way everyone does it, and away we go. Now our back end might look the same software, same checklist, because the core of what we do as accountants is still heavily regulated to a certain extent. But the way we go about and the experience that we do that in, the way we represent that, that's where you bring who are you and how do you go about doing that?
Be you, everyone else is taken. I love that. It's a great note to finish up on, Andrew, mate. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I love what Illuminate is doing, and I think that you guys really set the bar pretty high for where the industry is or should be going from a brand and marketing perspective.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for tuning in today for another episode. If you would like to stay up to date with each episode, you can subscribe on this link to receive each episode to your inbox, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Until next time, I'm Tyson Cobb, brand and marketing advisor for accounting firms, and this is Practice Makes Perfect. Speak to you again soon.
This episode is powered by Practice and Pixels. Discover more at practiceandpixels.com.au.